Today we will talk about XLM and SHX and open everything, which will concentrate on open banking. The extensive interconnecting history in between XRP, XLM, and SHX is extremely important here, especially because of Tammy Camp. And it all comes down to how Stellar and SHX appear to be extremely well positioned to act as the US financial infrastructure. It also includes a patent from Stellar and a company that got picked up by Stellar to help them do this. So to introduce the extremely important topic here, we should start with more on open banking and why it is important right now. Open banking is all about decentralization of the existing financial infrastructure. And as of right now, we are set to have legislation passed in October or November of 2024.
In order for open banking to realize its potential, the reliance on APIs is a critical factor in order to expose to third-party various datasets held by banks. Not every third party can have access to your financial information. Indeed, PSD2 has identified two types of third-party providers. You have Account Information Service Provider, AISP, and Payment Initiation Service Provider, PISP. Let's look at them in turns. An AISP is a business that uses customer account data to provide services such as aggregating financial information in one place, tracking their spending, or planning their finance. AISP are currently the most common, and UK-based startup Yolt is a good example. A PISP is a company that initiates a digital payment on the behalf of a user directly from their bank account, offering an alternative to use of cards. A number of PISP, such as Trustly and Go Cardless, are focusing on e-commerce payment. As you might realize, both PISP and IAISP are changing customer relationship and also business models. Traditionally, the value chain was strictly vertical. This is usually referred as a pipeline business model. Banks offer their customer a variety of services and products. In exchange, customers paid a fee and authorized banks to access their personal and transactional data. However, with open banking, value can now be created outside of traditional bank, allowing third parties to own primary customer relationship.
How is Stronghold involved here? They are a payment initiation service provider who enables banks to upgrade services using APIs to come into compliance. Here in an April article, it is explaining how institutions can come into compliance, and it talks about technology and digital banking providers, which I have information on that here. It also calls out Plaid, which just so happens to be connected into SHX because of their involvement with ACH payments. And it is also calling out the importance of in-house developers, which Stellar has the capacity to remove extremely expensive requirements for individual institutions. In a July article, it is calling out how Section 1033 in the Consumer Financial Protection Act of 2010, which is commonly called the Dodd-Frank Act, is set to be finalized in fall of 2024. And it explicitly calls out how all of these new open banking requirements tie into APIs, which of course is one of the topics Stronghold has been concentrating on. To help illustrate how interconnected Stronghold is here, they are extremely well prepared in combination with Stellar and even Ripple to effectively provide financial infrastructure in the US economy.
A little about my background is that I first learned about Bitcoin in 2011 when I was attending Singularity University at NASA Ames by a world-renowned cryptographer named Ralph Merkle.
Is this the Merkle proof?
Merkle?
This is Merkle Tree Merkle. Yeah, talk to me about Bitcoin.
To introduce this, we've got IBM, Stronghold, Stellar, and the Federal Reserve talking about creating financial infrastructure technology.
There was a time in the United States we had 5,000 different currencies. Right now, you're going to have today we found out, Jesse pointed out that there's a new JP Morgan stablecoin, right? And so we're going to end up with 5,000 new currencies. I think your interledger, like that's going to be, like, my grandmother doesn't care, that what it is, right? Does all this stuff become like behind the scenes? Is that?
I think so, yeah. I think you basically have your preferred currency or preferred provider, or your bank, or what have you, and then that interoperates with other ones, and you don't really care how it gets there, like as long as each person ends up at the end of the day with the thing that they care about.
So if they ever did create a digital dollar, the design should be agnostic to the rails. Would you agree with that? It should almost be like a standard or like a Merkle kind of entity. Well, now I'm getting past it. You guys in Merkle Mountains and stuff, like, are you?
I know Merkle, Merkle, the
Merkle, yeah, okay. But yeah, how would you guys design a digital currency for the United States? Or any country.
Jed, there's your opening right there. Federal Reserve asked Jed McCaleb how to create a digital currency.
And we also know that Stronghold has a FDIC insured stablecoin. Stronghold and IBM have collaborated to create Stronghold USD. And in the AMA with Tammy, it did pop up, and her comments were that Stronghold USD is not dead. It is ready to be implemented at the appropriate time. Jed of Stellar has also explained how Stronghold USD as an anchor is a cornerstone part of bringing Stellar to mass market adoption, which can also get into the esoteric parts of how Stellar and Ripple can even be observed in the bearable guy stuff. And to explain how Stronghold is extremely well positioned to end up as the perfect chosen designed combination of Ripple and Stellar, we can check out how it was originally created. So Stronghold Pay was created in 2016. Stronghold as an investment firm was created in 2017. It gets extremely interesting when we look into an entity called Action Factory, which is called out as an officer in Stronghold Institutional Services and in Stronghold Technologies. They also have a DBA in California as Stronghold Technologies, which was actually created in 2013 before Stellar was even officially created. It is also in Tammy Camp's name. Coming back to Stronghold USD, it is FDIC insured by Prime Trust, which is called out here in a post by Stellar, except here it is referring to USDC. It does call out Prime's APIs, and it also calls them out as a Stellar's first bank licensed anchor. Anchors are probably one of, if not the largest component in terms of Stellar's infrastructure adoptability. It is essentially a plug-and-play software system that enables businesses to connect to the Stellar network in order to send fiat payments and act as on and off ramps. The patent I talked about at the start, it is extremely important. It was first applied for in 2019, and it is concentrating on international remittances. The abstract explains it as architecture of a computer software system which provides institutions transaction operations between each other on Stellar, and how it improves global institutional connectivity. In Section 5, it is explaining how it is intended to operate at scale. And now we come back to NetXD, which created one of the industry's first fully cloud-based platforms for the RTP provider clearinghouse, or TCH. And if you check them out on X, they explained themselves as providing a programmable enterprise operating system enabling institutions to transform back office operations. And it's a coincidence how they are in Lawrence, Kansas, which is where Brad Garlinghouse went to college, who is one of the key investors in Stronghold and is the CEO of Ripple, which then ties right back into how XRP, XLM, and SHX are all extremely interconnected. One of the services that NetXD provides is digital banking. And if you catch it up here, they are a provider in not only PCH, but in FedNow, which also ties right back into SHX. They are able to provide banks and institutions a pre-created digital banking platform, which ties right back into the Stellar patent and open banking.